Found it! The new Eclipse Cross. I guess by putting Cross in the name, they haven't totally ruined the ability of using the name. Wow, buddy. Good morning, YouTube. My name is Will.
Lotus.
Enzo. 2005 Evo 8 RS. If you're new to this series, this is the Evo for Dummies series I'm doing, where I'm going through every iteration of the Evos in America, year by year, sometimes more than one video per year if there's a lot. Now, the last video was the 2004 Evo 8s. It's a very short video because, frankly, a lot didn't change. 2005, we see a lot of changes, and we're gonna try to get through these as efficiently as possible. Now, full disclaimer, while mine is a 2005 Evo 8 RS, there are many things that are not factory, as is common with Evos, which is also why I want to do these videos, so that you guys can recognize those if you're out looking for one, or you just want to know. As these cars get older, this information becomes harder to come across. My wheels are not correct. These are off a Evo 10 MR. My badging is not correct. It's the UK style. My bumper is not correct. It's a JDM bumper for an Evo 9. The Vortex generators did come out in 05, actually, but only on the MR. And my interior includes Evo 9 front and rear seats. And I have a stereo in my RS, which it didn't come with. So as we're going through this video, just keep that in mind, that mine is not actually the perfect example. I will be including a lot of photos, though, to help facilitate this video. So as I mentioned, 2005 is a big year. The RS continues. The regular Evo 8, which we commonly refer to as the GSR, even though it's not technically called a GSR, continues, obviously. And then we have the introduction of the MR. Now, I remember the first time I saw an Evo 8 MR. It was in a Best Buy parking lot. I'm sorry, are you not a fan of the MRs? It was in a Best Buy parking lot. It was graphite gray, and it just, I didn't have any words. The second Evo 8 I saw, for all I know, it was the same one, or not second Evo 8, but the second Evo 8 MR I saw was also gray, and it was going down the highway, and that just looked even better. So I've always had a thing for the gray. It's probably my second favorite color after the white. So let's hit some of the highlights real quick. Aside from the addition of the MR, all the models get ACD, the active center differential. I have an entire video on that if you're curious. All the models get more power. All the models get LSD now as part of the ACD, where prior it was just the RS. And we have a couple color changes. The gray that I mentioned is MR specific. Blue Bayou is going away. It gets replaced with electric blue, which, in case you're wondering, is, to the best of my knowledge, one of the rarest colors. I'm not a huge fan of it, simply for the fact that it's hard to do stuff with it, but it is a good looking color for sure. So with the addition of the gray and the electric blue, we still have white, although it is now a wicked white. We have rally red, apex silver, tarmac black, and we still have lightning yellow. Yellow might be the rarest, actually. I take that back. I always forget about yellow, which is probably more of an indicator that it's the rarest. But anyways, pricing is up across the board. The RS starts at $27,929. The regular 8 GSR, $30,699, so we're above $30,000 now. And the MR is $34,699. Now, previously, I did an entire video on the 04 RS because that was the first year of it. I just want to briefly touch on the differences between the 04 and 05 RS. The major difference is, you will notice, I have the aluminum roof. You'll see it kind of move here, kind of lift up here. So the aluminum roof is new in 05. You see it on the RS and the MR only. Also, there is a sport package option, or an RS package, that included aluminum sport pedals, an aluminum shift knob, which is missing from my car. I do have one, but it's not the original. And then the gauges that you see here. Now, these would typically actually come down here, and there would just be a blank plate up there, which unfortunately I don't have the blank plate either. Here soon I'm going to honestly just take these out because they're useless, and probably find a blank plate and put back there. But you got those gauges and the shift knob and the pedals for only $570, which is a total ripoff even in today's money. But it was the only option available from the factory for the RS. Now, there's dealer add-ons. I mean, technically you could get a wing as a dealer add-on, but not from the factory. Now, as far as major changes to the regular GSR, the biggest difference you are going to notice is the fact that, one, The cup holders are larger now, and in doing so, we no longer have the intercooler sprayer button. Therefore, we have no intercooler sprayer. That's on any of the trims. Supposedly, that's because of the ACD, but I'm not 100% certain on that. Plus, other markets have had ACD since, I think, the Evo 7, so I don't know. But regardless, that's what the official word is because of the ACD. So that's gone. HIDs are no longer standard. You can only get them as part of the SSL package. So as it might imply, you still get the upgraded Infinity stereo, you got the sunroof, and you got leather. But now you also get HIDs, but they didn't change the name at all. So, and that package was available for $3,120, which puts a GSR really close to MR territory. So why have the MR? Well, first of all, you can't even get the SSL package on the MR. The MR still has a lot of other things that you can't get on the GSR or the RS for that matter. All right, so let's talk about the MR edition. First, MR, Mitsubishi Racing. That moniker goes back decades to like the 1970s in the Galant GTO MR, which at the time had dual overhead cam and 125 horsepower. Aside from the graphite gray color, you could get it in white, red, or silver only. Hey, buddy. Come to fact check. So you get the aluminum roof, as I mentioned earlier. You get lighter wheels. The BBS wheels are about 2.7 pounds lighter per wheel than the standard Inkies. You get Bilstein shocks, Bilstein, whatever, shocks. And you get the 6-speed transmission. Now there's a lot of drama around this 6-speed transmission. I did an entire video about it. I hope your panting is not messing up my audio. Seriously? Oh, okay. Now both here. So you get the aluminum roof. You also get the vortex generators like I have on my car. You have the 6-speed transmission. You also have the little MR plaque inside that states that it's a Evolution MR. Obviously, you get the ACD because all models have ACD. You get the power bump. All models have the same power. 276 horsepower. So we've made it to that mythical ceiling, Japanese gentleman's agreement ceiling at this point. Now, the MRs have one option package from the factory. It's the aptly named MR package. To be honest, I've pretty much never seen an MR without it. I'm sure it exists out there somewhere. I just haven't seen one, haven't come across one. But it's how you get the vortex generators, first of all. Technically, those are not standard. You get the same awesome gauge kit that I have. You get sport pedals again, instead of a leather-wrapped e-brake handle, whereas in the RS, I don't even get anything. In the GSR, you get leather. In the MR, you actually can get, with the package, you can get carbon and wheel locks. All for the grand total of $800. So, yeah, I mean, considering the vortex generators by themselves are a few $100s, that's not the worst package I've ever seen. But like I said, I really have never seen one. I'm sure it's out there, just like Evos with the small wing, but I've just never run across one, really. Now, across all models, as I mentioned, they do some horsepower gains. We're at 276 across the board. They also do some aluminum stuff. Guys, chill! They also do some aluminum, like, crash beam stuff that you can't see in all the models to make things lighter. And then one thing they do on the RS that they didn't do in the other models or even in the 04 RS is the trunk is actually a little bit thinner too on the aluminum. So 2005, a lot happens. The RS gets some upgrades. The MR is introduced. We get more power. We get the ACD, which we should have had to begin with. A lot of things happen. It's one of the reasons, as I've said before, people like to call it the Evo 8.5. Don't do that. I don't like that because it's implying you're halfway to a 9, when in fact we're really just like to a 7 at this point, or halfway to a 7. I don't know, because AYC came years before that even, so, and we don't have that. It's also one of the reasons that I usually steer people towards the 05s. It's a really good balance. You get most of the stuff that came on the 9 without the price premium of the 9. Always, I will be pinning a comment first so that you guys can respond to if there's anything major that I missed or even small that I missed. By all means, comment and I can get those up there and update it. That way, going forward, if things come up that way in the future, it can still be relevant. Lotus, you need to chill. Lotus, you need to chill. Lotus, break. every little noise, and then like a squirrel knocks a branch off, so then he's on red alert. You on alert status? Enzo, you on break? So that's pretty much going to do it for the 05s. If you're following along with this series, stay tuned. We will be doing the Evo 9s and then the 10s, and then eventually I'd like to do some international. So like the Evos 1 through 7 basically. Those are going to take me much more time though to come across materials, and I don't have any first-hand experience with them. So as always, if you guys have any information or materials and you want to send them, you can DM me on Instagram. If you have any comments, obviously leave those below. Like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more Evo content. I will eventually start modding my Evo more when I get some more time. Right now I just don't have it. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers the 05s. Did I forget anything, Lotus? Appreciate you guys as always, and we will see you tomorrow. Lotus, I said bye. Say bye. Say bye. All the different materials I had to go through.
You're one and only.